parity-filled field of the 2024 Economy Lube and Tire Pro Sport Bike Division has no shortage of talented riders hoping to see their Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship dreams take flight. Where better to be but in the shadows of Edmonton International Airport at RAD Raceway with seemingly endless local talent. Will a Westerner take the top step, throwing yet another twist into the championship? Leathers on, grit up and go. It's race day in Alberta. Marshall Ferguson alongside Colin Fraser. We are here in Edmonton, Alberta, and it is RAD Raceway for the sport bike category, brought to you by Economy Lube and Tire. In race number 1, John Lang, a Westerner, goes on to victory. It was really impressive.
Well, if you're going to the pre-grid wearing a black hat, I think you're going to throw down. I think his qualifying performance certainly indicated he could. He didn't get the greatest of starts, but the expectation was this was a race he needed to win. He aims to climb into championship contention. There might be some opportunity there because Seb Tremblay, our points leader, is dealing with a shoulder issue.
A lot happening there on the back of the right shoulder of Sebastian Tremblay, but third in race number 1, Maverick Sear, tons of potential. Great battle he had in the first race as well as we see the grid for race 2.
Sear in the zone, but he qualified poorly. He had an incident during qualifying that pushed him far back on the grid. Here as we look at our front runners, first of the locals, Justin Napick, who normally rides 1000cc2, but this weekend he's concentrating on his Yamaha YZF R6. There's Sear in the middle of row 3.
Philip de Gama Blanchette, that battle that he had with Maverick Sear, of course, and backing up the end of this grid, Alex Michel, Owen Albaba, back wheel on his Kawasaki, and Marco Souza on the Suzuki here at RAD Raceway.
Souza, the team owner for Van Winkle, who was one of the stars of our race yesterday.
As we look around RAD Raceway, and that was the the great overtaking position taken just opposite the start-finish line in race number 1.
We're now on the west end of the track where it's open and flowing, but the first half of the lap is kind of one line, and of course lots of hard braking and lots of opportunities to work both sides of the tire, one after the other.
Let's go down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said.
Thanks, guys. John Lang managed his second ever career win in race 1 yesterday at his home track here at Edmonton's RAD Torque. The win moves him to second in the championship behind Sebastian Tremblay. Lang did win, but most of the action in race 1 was the battle for 4th place between Phil de Gama Blanchet, Maverick Sear, and Andrew Van Winkle. The trio will try to stay with Lang today and make it a closer battle for the win. Back to you.
Thank you, Sarah, as we get set for race number 6 of the Economy Lube and Tire Pro Sport Bike Division season in 2024. It's the Apex Cycle starting lights powered by Honda, and we are full throttle once again here in Alberta. And just like the first race of the weekend, Elliot Vieira is off and away.
Yeah, but Van Winkle had a terrific start on that 600. Remember, he's giving up a fair bit of displacement to a lot of the other motorcycles, and this bodes very, very well because Van Winkle got bottled up last time. Now we're going to get an idea what his actual real race pace is.
Vieira finishing second in the first contest here at RAD Torque in the Pro Sport Bike Division, as he will lead his way towards the finish straight for the first time, and it is sitting in that second spot. You said Andrew Van Winkle, and Maverick Sear is sitting in third right on the heels as John Lang hanging back in 4th.
Now, Lang didn't get the start he wanted, and he is mired in the pack, and this is a problem. We talked yesterday about the fact that he needs, and look, here on board with Lang, and see Sear just rockets by him, Van Winkle too, and he needs to get going. By the way, I got that wrong. That was Elliot Vieira. There is Sear pushing by him for 4th, and Lang gets pushed a little wide at the start of the S's here, but he needs open track to get the most out of his 636 Kawasaki, and this situation where he's behind some larger displacement bikes does not help his program. But there's our points leader right behind him, Seb Tremblay on that GSXR 750.
Great look on board there from the Vast Performance Kawasaki of John Lang as they do officially come around here, and it is lap number 1 of 18. Vieira still out in front of Andrew Van Winkle.
Now Vieira really hammered down already, setting a very, very strong pace.
Making their way through this tight twisting section as Lang opens it up a little bit, dives down the inside of Maverick's here. Can he make it stick? And it looks like for now, this is another section on the start straight that Sear was extremely strong, and he gets back into that third position, takes it away from Lang, and back and forth they go.
Yeah, Sear overshot there. The power of the Ducati, very impressive coming out of turn 4. But oh yeah, wow. Lang kicked up a little bit of dust there, so we're using all the road and maybe a little bit more. And Lang's one of the few guys who's been able to deal with Sear based on what happened yesterday. But again, he needs to get to the front to have a shot at doing what he did yesterday, which was dominate.
As Elliot Vieira opens up the gap here in first position and starting to stretch his legs a little bit on lap number 1. As that Economy Lube and Tire Ducati will cross the line to begin lap 2 in first spot ahead of Van Winkle and John Lang, who has that third position.
Crossing the finish line here, this track is unusual in that we start in one spot and finish in another, so you kind of get half a free lap to start with, so we start getting meaningful time sooner, and there's a meaningful time. Elliot Vieira breaking John Lang's lap record, so nice effort by Vieira on that Ducati. This is the third of the Desmo 955s he's ridden this season, and this one seems to suit him the best, so I guess it's sort of a porridge and bears issue.
No doubt we can see the pace of Elliot Vieira on that Economy Lube and Tire Ducati. The 119.320 would have been good enough for pole by 0.2 here at RAD Torque Raceway. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Importation Thibault, EBC Brakes and Clutches, and BS Battery. Closed captioning for the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is brought to you in part by Apex Cycle, the Canadian Motorcycle Association, MotorcycleCourse.com, and Revs for Ret. Welcome back to RAD Torque Raceway as we are on lap number 6 and race number 6 of the 2024 Bridgestone CSBK Pro Sport Bike Division. Andrew Van Winkle trying to track down Elliot Vieira, who remains out in front, and John Lang has made his way into third position. We'll see whether he can recapture some of that qualification and Saturday pace that he had here at RAD Torque.
Impressive, the ability of these three to go so much deeper into the lap time. And remember, the setup hasn't changed that much since yesterday, but obviously we put new tires on, made some adjustments, and have a better idea of what we're looking for out of the bike. And these three are setting a blinding pace, much quicker than yesterday.
As we see Andrew Van Winkle continuing to spin his way on that Suzuki around RAD Torque Raceway, Elliot Vieira carrying great pace up in front. You can see Van Winkle just hammering the throttle on that one as well. Let's go down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said, with more on Philip de Gama Blanchette.
All right, in race 1, there was a bit of a battle for fourth, and Phil was in the mix. How are you feeling after seeing that heading into today's race?
You know, we're confident, and he's confident too, which is even more important. He's about where we thought he would be out of the start. He's got to battle through. One of the things that's in his favor is he's really, really fit. So with these longer races, some of the other riders start to fade in the last third. So if he's with someone, he'll just stick with them and he will grind them down lap by lap.
What have you been focusing on behind the scenes?
Okay, so we had a tough weekend in Grand Bend. Didn't go anywhere near as well as we thought it would. We had a great weekend there last year. So this weekend's been all about getting a mindset back. So I've been putting him into every single session we qualify for, so he gets a lap time, so he gets his mojo back, and he gets back into it. Yesterday, he showed us that his head's right back where it should be, so he's just got to build on that today and see what we can do.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
A budding football superstar as well as de Gama Blanchette playing some high school ball out there in Western Canada while doubling down on his racing career here in Bridgestone CSBK.
I don't know what his background in stick and ball activity is, but I know his hand and eye coordination is superb. We definitely saw that yesterday when he led the charge to try and get by Sear, who was struggling with some issues. I think it turned out to be the quick shifter on the Ducati yesterday.
Which of these three up front, Vieira, Van Winkle, and Lang, have impressed you the most in terms of steps taken this weekend, Cole?
It's definitely Van Winkle, because this is right out of a clear blue sky, and that he would be good, not a surprise, but that he'd take that GSXR 600, and remember, the rules now favor the GSXR 750 with the restrictions, and do so well. And you look at him, he is just so focused. He isn't maybe as flamboyant as Collins in Superbike or even de Gamma Blanchette, but he gets the job done. He is a very effective rider, and when you're second overall at this pace, and particularly in front of Lang, who was so spectacular on Friday and Saturday here at RAD Torque.
Being able to lay down some consistent lap times for Andrew Van Winkle as well in this race. As we were running on lap number 8, he's been 119, 119.7 the last 2 laps, so really, really smooth.
Yeah, Van Winkle, we're looking at a difference from yesterday of over a second, and that is really something, and that isn't just setup, that's riding too, and that's just digging that little bit extra, and he is putting the pressure on, and I can only imagine Vieira's lap board, because Vieira's wondering, I'm going so much quicker, the lap timer on board will tell him that, but I got somebody right on top of me. Normally, Vieira would think, gotta be Tremblay, but Tremblay's back in 5th struggling with that shoulder problem.
See Vieira chased by Van Winkle and Lang, the third of these 3 that have stretched their legs a little bit in round 3 here at RAD Torque Raceway, and Van Winkle heads towards the finish straight.
And we played up that Lang will benefit from clear track and needs it. He has clear track, so there's lots of room in front of him, but the problem is that room was just earned by Vieira and Van Winkle, and I'm sure Lang is quite surprised that he's going faster, and yet he seems to be mired in 3rd. He is not in contention for anything more than a podium right now. Remember, he was the guy who looked like he was going to be the king of this class based on yesterday's.
Oh, and Vieira is down, spinning into the grass. We've seen this far too much early on this season, and Andrew Van Winkle is up into the lead as he wheelies his way out of the quick chicane there, but what went wrong with Elliot Vieira?
Well, here we go into turn 2. It's a pretty slow corner. He completely misses the apex, and it makes me wonder if he just kind of had a little bit of a brain gap, and he seems to want to cut back under. It's a very minor fall. The bike goes spinning off in the right. Here you can see he tries to get his shoulder down and to save it as much as he can, but we know the Ducatis don't crash particularly well, and he rubbed through 2 of them last time out at Grand Bend.
Disappointment for Elliot Vieira. Andrew Van Winkle leads. Welcome back to RAD Torque Raceway, working lap number 10 of 18 as the Gulf Race Fuels being put to the test. Andrew Van Winkle lighten up the throttle. Out in first place after crashing out of the lead was Elliot Vieira, and a tough season continues for the number 33 Ducati of Vieira.
In the opening long shot, that's
And another rider is off in the background here as we see Ian Wall is down, who was pushing very hard back in the first race of the weekend here in the Pro Sport Bike division and ended up having to retire, and now he is off the bike on that Argyle Motorsports Triumph.
And I was going to mention that in the background of our opening shot when we came back from break, Tremblay had de Gamma Blanchette all over the back of him, and we know Tremblay's struggling, not consistent the way he usually is, so that suggests de Gamma Blanchette is good for at least another 4th. So what a weekend it's been for a guy on a bike that really is not anything special in this field.
He's certainly been finding some tempo on that one, and Sebastian Tremblay with the shoulder injury he's dealing with. Last thing he wants to do is have a young and hungry Philip de Gamma Blanchette trying to push the pace on him, as again out in front Van Winkle now weaving his way through, avoiding any of the debris from the Ian Wall low side crash.
Yeah, Wall incident was right through here, and it looks like there's a skid mark where he may have tucked the front end on that Triumph, and that's unfortunate because Wall has been showing so well, as has Napick, who is now the top of the local guys in 6th.
17 years young for Andrew Van Winkle here as he leads onto lap number 11.
Right, our reigning Pro Twins champion, and he battled through to get that title. This is a much more consistent performance. We watched him through the bus stop after Vieira had that tumble that took him out of the lead. As we went through the bus stop, I had to think that Van Winkle's trying to process, what did I just see? Did I just drive by the leader picking up his Ducati in turn 2?
Must be a strange feeling when you lock your eyes on the target ahead and then end up having to go past him the next time around. Is in the background there, we actually saw the Snow City Cycle Kawasaki of Mac Wheel retiring into the pits, and so his race is over here in Edmonton, but it is still very much on for Andrew Van Winkle with John Lang in behind him. But enough of a split, you have to think that his pit board is going to send a message to him on exactly what he wants to accomplish. Let's go down and hear from more about the Sear camp with Sarah Said.
In race 1, Maverick was seemingly battling it out with de Gamma Blanchette and with Van Winkle. What are you doing to prepare for race 2 so he can kind of get past that?
Well, we made a change on the bike because we had a problem yesterday, the quick shifter and the quick lip that wasn't working, so we finally got it fixed last night. So it's going a lot better today. Maverick was very, very happy to have it working because it was art for him to to do it yesterday. So today, hopefully, he's going to put it on the box.
How are you feeling so far with the race? How's it going?
Well, it's going good. He's got a very good pace. There's a little gap for the guys in front of him, but it's nothing that he can't get back to them during the race.
Awesome, thank you.
Maverick Sear qualified with a 122.1, and yesterday he ended up essentially running in the 121s all race. He's been in the 120s every single lap here in this race. He's essentially taken a second per day step forward as he sits in third position. Can he use that pace to improve his podium position? We find out when we return. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Importations T-Bow, EBC Brakes and Clutches, and BS Battery. Welcome back to RAD Torque Raceway here in Edmonton, Alberta. Lap number 14. There you see Maverick Sear. Just mentioned the incredible pace that he has had over the last essentially 10 laps or so, continuing to build it up, and how nice it must feel, Colin, for him to be able to get up to the speed that he knew was possible by fixing that issue on the Ducati.
Well, I think the goal is, of course, to get on a bike that can win, and he may now be in that situation with the Ducati, but you have to learn to ride that bike, and it is quite different from the others. So his background experience is probably not that helpful with the Ducati.
Oh, and now we see John Lang going for an adventure in the grass, trying to get the power back up, but this is going to cost him with Sear setting all those fast lap times. Now he's got to scrub those tires a bit, and he's heading down the finish straight, vulnerable as Sear starts to close it down a little bit more, but waits it out into turn one.
You got to say that Sear saw that, knows that Lang is struggling, probably knows that Lang's pushing really, really hard. So this is another blood in the water situation, and I think Sear is going to come very hard after Lang because he is riding consistently today. He couldn't do that yesterday with technical issues. Now let's go to the replay. Watch Lang. He's the first of our bikes here, and it's going to be a moment. There you can see he lost the front end. He catches it. He's up on top of the forks. He goes over the sounder curb onto the grass. Remember, Elliot Vieira did this at our Shannonville opener. He saved it too. This is a big moment.
Yeah.
This is scary. And of course, they leave themselves a little bit of room, but the little bit of room is not very much room. And right here, he's just so grateful that he could line the bike up and get back on the track without catching the edge of the curb.
That could have been real nasty for both John Lang's safety and the Vast Performance Kawasaki piecing that bike back together. He'll be thankful, but he just wants to be able to hold off Maverick Sear at this point. What was in your opinion, called the way that Lang was able to hold on to that thing? Because it took everything.
Well, it's this section right here, and it's moving your weight, right? So it looks like you're sitting on the motorcycle. You hardly ever are. Lang's exits are very, very tight and disciplined, very much like Ben Young's. He's very careful with how he sits on the motorcycle from the apex on out to get the drive. And there, I think it was moving his weight with his feet.
Sear is going to throw it down the inside into turn one. He makes the pass. You see Lang go over that big bump, and now he'll try to climb back onto the back of the number 4 Ducati as Lang looks like that issue he had, thankful again to still be on the bike right now, but trying to get back into the picture here with Maverick Sear.
If Lang's going to get back in front, this is the spot where it will happen. This is his strongest part of the track, and he's not going to do it. And you mentioned him going over that bump in one. He was a little bit wide, and I think really he's one of the few riders who can use that line because he's comfortable. But here you can just see Sear putting the power down so well with the 955 V-twin. Lang really couldn't do much about it, and it's frustrating for Lang, but no doubt he's being a little careful now after that near miss.
Great opportunistic charge that time by Maverick Sear to pair up with all of his solid lap times, being able to go and get a position that was right in front of him and waiting for the taking.
Yeah, and I got to hand it to Lang because obviously he's fighting the good fight. Everybody's picked up the pace, so now his pole position time, which was so outstanding on Friday, is just another good lap. And the consistency at the front, which of course is the mark of a strong series, this class has always been great for entertaining racing, but now we're seeing a lot of very solid performances from very disciplined riders, and it's a mark of the series increasing in terms of the skill level.
Second spot would be his best finish for Maverick Sear as he just threw down a 122.99, which again is just incredible pace. Be able to rip around this place like that after trying to create a little bit of breathing room from himself and this man, the Vast Performance Kawasaki of John Lang.
On board with Lang, and this is his strongest part of the track. We come out of the carousel and then we brake hard and go into another sort of a carousel, turn 4, and then we go to the start line. But the problem here is he's chasing Cyr, and Cyr's bike is so good at exiting these sections. Then we get into the flowing part of the track out in the west end. Lang's technique and his knowledge comes more into play, but I don't know if Lang has it in him to go after Cyr at this point.
As he looks over his shoulder, the back chunk of this lap, trying to sort out whether or not he has to push to get away from 4th, as he does have a podium position locked up right now.
And that's not a bad thing, but the problem is Lang, I think, was pretty much determined to win today too, to force his way back into points contention. And really, in terms of survival mode, this has gone pretty well for Tremblay, who normally features in our broadcast, but we've hardly seen him.
Meanwhile, as Maverick Cyr makes his move up into 2nd, we have reached the final lap with Andrew Van Winkle out in front, first position at 17 years old.
And once again, in the back of that shot on the start finish, we could see Tremblay with de Gamma Blanchette all over his back. So he can bet he wants to hang on to that spot because he is concerned about hanging on to his points lead. But really, Van Winkle has just been flawless. I haven't really seen any moments. I've seen some pretty aggressive riding. His route through the bus stop and his efforts on the brakes have been spectacular.
Yes, got to think that a pit board message came through for Van Winkle going into this final lap. Number 18 of 18 is on lap 17. He was a 121.6, well off the pace that he'd been sitting throughout this race. He was just absolutely on fire from basically laps 1 through 12, and then started to spread things out a little bit.
You fantasize about winning a pro national and what it would take to beat the best, and of course, when you're 17, just turned 17, you know, that it could take years to get there, but it looks like it's going to take about another half a minute.
What a special moment this would be for him, as that Suzuki weaves its way one more time towards the finish straight, and a big wheelie coming off here, having some fun and doing it in style as well.
Former BC Star mini racer looks like he's going to put another notch in his belt on that climb of the ladder.
The youngest sport bike winner in Bridgestone CSBK history, Andrew Van Winkle, and our 5th different winner in 6 races as Maverick Cyr celebrates coming home in 2nd, John Lang in 3rd. And that is an incredible effort from an incredible young racer in Andrew Van Winkle.
Nice to see the exuberance. If you're going to do it, have some fun with it. And he really showed remarkable maturity and pace, and that is a race that he will remember for the rest of his life.
Sebastian Tremblay brought it home in 4th, but it wasn't easy, Colin.
Yeah, and we also have an issue with a motorcycle being disqualified because it is no longer eligible. That is the MV Agusta of Owen Elbaba.
Let's go down and hear from our race winner, Andrew Van Winkle.
In 2023, you're the Pro Twins champion. Now in your 2nd ever Pro Sport Bike race, you have a win. How do you feel?
Oh, it feels unreal. So happy I could come out here this weekend. Hopefully I can come out to Shuby and Mosport, but it was great and I'm having a blast. Love the crowd, love the paddock, just having a great time.
Nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun on 2 wheels there for the BC native.
Yeah, and a former mini bike champion showing very, very well as he continues to climb the ladder.
Elliot Vieira, still no win, sits down in 3rd after crashing out from the lead in this race. John Lang taking steps forward, including the victory in the first race here at RAD Tour, but it was Andrew Van Winkle taking the day, the youngest to ever do it on the top step in the Pro Sport Bike division.